Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu. A pleasant morning to each and everyone. My name is Baymari Fakasan Aman and my partner here is Alham Surpi Abdul, which is our report is Sociological Theory. Okay, let's start. What is sociological theory? A sociological theory is a supposition that intends to consider, analyze, or explain object of social reality from a sociological perspective, drawing connection between individual concepts in order to organize and substance sociological knowledge. Hence, such knowledge is composed of complex theoretical frameworks and methodology. Sociological theory means that it is a concept or ito yung gumagawa ng kaalaman on what is the reality of what was sociology is. Like for example, yung batang panganak or hindi pa siya nakakapagsalita or wala pa siyang kamuwang-muwang sa buhay. But day comes na lumalaki na siya, nakakapag-aral na, nakikipagsalamuha siya sa iba at unti-unti nang nabubuhay ang kaalaman niya sa mga bagay-bagay at sa pakikipagsalamuha sa iba. Natututo na rin siyang tumayo sa sarili niyang paa. Another example is, nung una nagiging mahihain ka, na ayaw mo makipagsalamuha sa iba. Pero habang tumatagal, natututo kang makipagsalamuha sa iba at makipaghalubilo. Natututo ka sa realidad at tinuturuan ka na naman ng realidad na di ka lang nag-iisa sa mundo, na di lang ikaw ang tao dito. At kailangan mo rin ng makakasama at makakaramay sa buhay. That was the sociological theory teach us. Structural functionalism, a broad historical paradigm in sociology. Structural functionalism addresses social structure in its entirety and in terms of the necessary function possessed by its constituent elements. A common parallel used by functionalists known as the organic or biological analogy, popularized by Herbert Spencer, is to regard norms and institutions as organs that work toward the proper functioning of the entire body of society. The perspective was implicit in the original sociology positivism of Auguste Comte, but was terrorized in full by Durkheim, again with respect to observable structural laws. The level of analysis, macro or mid, the way each part of society function together to contribute to the whole. Ito yung nagiging haligi ng sociology and dito ka pinapatibay. Like for example nito is kapag gagawa ka ng bahay, dapat yung pundasyon ng bahay na pinapagawa mo, dapat matibay, di yung madaling masira o maguho. Ganyan ang structural function, dito ka ginagawang matatag at matibay. Structural functionalism, a broad historical paradigm in sociology. Structural functionalism addresses social structure in its entirety and in terms of the necessary function possessed by its constituent elements. A common parallel used by functionalists known as the organic or biological analogy, popularized by Herbert Spencer, is to regard norms and institutions as organs that work toward the proper functioning of the entire body of society. The perspective was implicit in the original sociology positivism of Auguste Comte, but was terrorized in full by Durkheim, again with respect to observable structural laws. The level of analysis, macro or mid, the way each part of society function together to contribute to the whole. Ito yung nagiging haligi ng sociology and dito ka pinapatibay. Like for example nito is kapag gagawa ka ng bahay, dapat yung pundasyon ng bahay na pinapagawa mo, dapat matibay, di yung madaling masira o maguho. Ganyan ang structural function, dito ka ginagawang matatag at matibay. Conflict theory. Conflict theory is a method that attempts in a scientific manner to provide causal explanation to the existence of conflict in society. Thus, conflict theorists look at the ways in which conflict arises and is resolved in society, as well as how every conflict is unique. Such theories describe the origin of conflict in societies are founded in the unequal distribution of resources and power. True, there is no universal definition of what resources necessary include. Most theorists follow Max Weber's point of view. Weber viewed conflict as the result of class status and power being ways of defining individuals in any given society. In these senses, power defines standard, thus people abide by societal rules and expectation due to inequality of power. The level of analysis macro. The way inequalities contribute to social differences and perpetuate difference in power. Conflict theory. In this theory, it is like inside the classroom, you had a different perspective in life and di kayo pare-pareho ng pinagmulan. May mahirap, may mayaman, may mayabang, may mabait, and dito nagsisimula ang conflict. Dahil minsan at your social life, di kayo nagkakaintindihan, sometimes nag-aaway kayo or nagkakaroon ng di pagkakaunawan.
Good morning, sir. This is my report, Symbolic Interactionism. Symbolic interactionism, often associated with interactionism, sociology, dramaturgy, and interpretism, is a sociological approach that places emphasis on subject meanings and usually truth analysis on the empirical unfolding of social process. Such processes are believed to rely on individual and their action, which is ultimately necessary for society to progress. This phenomenon was first theorized by George Herbert Mead, who described it as outcome of collaborative joint action. So, ano nga ba ito? Symbolic interactionism is the study of the patterns of communication, interpretation, and adjustment between individuals. The basic notion of symbolic interactionism is that human action and interaction are understandable only through the exchange of meaningful communication or symbols. In this approach, humans are portrayed as acting as opposed to being acted upon. For example, sign language para sa mga pipi at bingi, then meron ding action na nagagawa natin na mas nagpapatunay sa katotohanan kaysa sa sinasabi natin. Ito yung sinasabing actions speak louder than words. There are 3 levels of society: micro, meso, and macro. I will discuss the macro level analysis, the smallest level, be family's relationship or individual, the detailed examination of one-to-one interaction between individuals includes studying people behavior and negotiation, confrontation, and everyday conversation. Micro-level analysis allows for nuanced analysis of particular dynamics of social phenomena, but may fail to consider broader social forces that impact such process. Ito yung pangalawa, sir. Let us discuss utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is often referred to as exchange theory or rational choice theory in the context of sociology. This tradition trends to privilege the agency of individual rational actors, assuming that within interaction individuals always seek to maximize their own self-interest. As argued by Josh Whitford in 2002, rational actors can be characterized as possessing four basic elements. 1. A knowledge of alternatives. 2. A knowledge of or beliefs about consequences of the various alternatives. Consequentialism is the view that the moral rightness of action or rules, policies, etc. depends only on the value of their consequences. 3 is an ordering of preferences over outcomes. Number 4, a decision rule to select among possible alternatives. The core idea of altruism is that we ought to act to improve the well-being of everyone by as much as possible. Maraming salamat po, sir. Yun lang po.